leading institutions and health experts in their attempt to downplay the crisis. Independent journalism is a bulwark against this erosion of freedom and slide into confusion. Journalists around the globe have taken up the challenge to keep citizens informed, sometimes at the price of their own freedom. Such sacrifice is a common theme at these CPJ Awards. This year is no exception. Tonight we will hear from an international community of journalists, news reporters, familiar faces, and surprising guests who have all gathered to honor the work of 4 journalists from Russia, Nigeria, Iran, and Bangladesh who have paid a heavy price for their quest after the truth. I am honored to be here and welcome you to join us in this fight for press freedom.
Hi, I'm Patrick Gaspard, president of the Open Society Foundations. I am honored to be the chair of this year's International Press Freedom Awards. For 3 decades, these awards have focused attention on the struggles of independent reporters and editors around the world. They recognize courage and professionalism in the face of cruel oppression. They also give encouragement to those journalists in jail or in exile for their work. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us all what a world without accurate information
Check 1 2 1 2 check testing
So
1 2
many
check
people have
hey
suffered.
1 2.
So many people have died, in part because those in power manipulated or bungled the flow of information. We need skeptics and people who ask tough questions to hold our leaders to account. That means we need journalists, and journalists need protection. I am supporting the Committee to Protect Journalists. Join me.
Check 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2.
Hello from London. Now, US sanctions have crippled Iran's access to medical supplies, but still the country has been scrambling to cover up the extent and impact of COVID-19 on the country. At one point, it even suspended the print.
Check 1 2 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 mic test 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2 check you good? Oh, it's delayed. It's delayed. That's why. Yeah. Yeah, you can hear me. Right. Yeah, I was just making sure the mic input works.
And distribution.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Is Mike here? Looking for Michael. Michael sure. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Check, check. One, two. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had it at 75 yesterday. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's check all rooms. Test, test, 1, 2. Sabino, check, good. Pima, check. And then Madeira, check, good. And then we're not going to turn Canyon on because Madeira's good enough there. Okay, that's good there. So this is the second handheld. Check 1, 2. Handheld white, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Test clear, ready for podium check. Less on this. Yep. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Test red. Check red. Too loud? Okay. How about that? Check 1, 2. Better? Okay. I noticed the aux master had gone up 2 ticks, so I just brought that down because that balanced both out.
Podium test 1, 2. Anything? Podium test 1, 2. Test test 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything? Podium test. Podium test 1, 2. Podium test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test test. Five, 6. Podium test. Test test. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Podium test. We good?
You want it to be closer?
No, the problem is they're gonna have a projector in their face.
Gonna what?
Have the projector in their face. So maybe I don't know what we're gonna do. Because they're gonna have Q&A. Oh yeah? Yeah. And when they do have Q&A, you don't want the projector to be there. Yeah. So, it doesn't matter. So maybe.
But the other thing is with these, for that projector supposed to be, these are near right too. For that time watch.
Right. So we'll before we have the Q&A, we'll just put them aside.
Yeah.
And then whenever they're ready, we'll come in. We'll turn out the projector.
Okay.
And we'll put it. Go ahead and open it. Can you play the PowerPoint one more time? Is that it?
That's a PowerPoint, yeah.
Is it
YouTube or PowerPoint? YouTube or PowerPoint?
the video that we were playing right now? Yeah. I'm sorry. Who's that guy? It doesn't look that far out.
Distribution of all newspapers. Despite intimidation and the ever-present threat of ending up in Tehran's notorious Evin prison, independent journalists have persisted in bringing us the truth. One such is our next honoree, a dogged investigative reporter who has just this year been sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison. Here's Mohammed Mosaid.
These are scarce pictures from protests in Iran.
The Iranian government has shut down nearly all internet access in the country. There are pockets of access that have let people show what's happening on the ground, but they're rare.
Making it very hard to figure out what exactly is going on there with the protests.
The situation of press freedom in Iran, there is no press freedom. everything is state-run. Whoever is not happy with what you report as a journalist, their first measure is to silence you. You always have to watch your back, always have to watch your communications. Mohammed was arrested in the middle of nationwide street protests. This tweet is one of the reasons he was arrested. He was detained for over a month. All of it, he was in solitary confinement. Helping these journalists like Mohammed has become personal for me. I'm an Iranian journalist. I was detained for over 2.5 months in solitary confinement. It's like being alive, but forced into a grave. Me and my colleagues at the Committee to Protect Journalists got involved with Mohammed's case. We immediately put statements out and launching a social media campaign on his behalf. On August 25th, Mohammed received his final sentence. The only reason he got such a heavy sentence is because of his effort to tell the truth. It's because of these journalists on the ground that we sometimes hear, oh, there was a flood, there's a war, there's a pandemic. We know that there are forces in the system who do not want the truth to be shared with the outside world. He's being punished only for being a very truthful journalist.
The 4 journalists whose stories we're hearing give us a glimpse into the battle for press freedom. In honoring their struggle and their sacrifice, we send a signal of hope and solidarity to the thousands of other journalists who endure attacks, the loss of livelihood, the loss of liberty, and sometimes even the loss of life that comes with being an independent voice in so much of the world. Their reporting has brought light into these dark times. Tyrants love the dark. It cloaks their misdeeds and their lies. By supporting CPJ, you are also helping journalists everywhere bring us the light of truth.
Congratulations to all of the honorees. As usual at this event, it's an amazing and courageous group of women and men. For more than 30 years, Knight Foundation has supported the Committee to Protect Journalists because press freedom is the lifeblood of citizen engagement in any republic. Around the world, there simply isn't a more effective organization supporting a free press, especially in a crisis. We're proud of our significant investment in CPJ, including our most recent grant, $4 million for their headquarters and endowment. I ask you for your So if you give $50, it'll be $100. If you give $1,000, it'll be $2,000. Give any amount, but please give. If you're moved by the courage and tenacity of the honorees, give. If you believe in informed communities and accountable government, you should give. Knight Foundation will double your gift, and we're delighted to do so. Thank you.
Independent journalism in Nigeria today owes a debt of gratitude to our next awardee, who began fighting for a free press back in the 1990s. His Tempo magazine angered that country's military dictatorship so much that it issued a shoot-on-sight order against him. after he was forced into hiding to escape arrest in 1995. He survived. The dictator fell. Since then, he has continued that fight for press freedom, all the while working as a prolific journalist. Great pleasure to introduce the man sometimes known as the godfather of online journalism in Nigeria, Dabo Olurunyomi.
We have political institutions that do not the idea of press freedom.
Freedom of the press is purely theoretical in Nigeria.
A journalist is a moving target.
Journalists in Nigeria work under very difficult conditions.
For societies like ours, the press is the only hope for the possibility of an opposition. 1996, they put us on charges of treason. My colleague said, listen, you really have to leave the country at this time. CPJ and the Amnesty International collaborated and got me out of Nigeria. It's not part of the plan, but it's like, today you have to move. That's how a 13 years exile began. So, my years of exile was working to free many of my colleagues who were in jail, providing media support for the
Check 1 2 1 2 check 1 2 check. Check 1 2 1 2 check.
Check 1 2 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 1 2 check yeah. Checking 1 2 check 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 1 2. Check 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2 check.
So, yeah, let's try to. We'll just up there. Maybe ask him. And then we'll do that one. Same thing. Do PFL. Bring the level, the fader down on that channel.
Check 1 2 check. Check 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2.
Now go ahead and bring the fader up and test it.
Check 1 2 check 1 2.
So, PFL, pre-fader, all the time. So, I think we're good. So we can turn off the stream now. Okay. Cool. Because I think we're pretty much all. I'm sorry?
Check 1 2 check 1 2. Check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Check 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2 check 1 2.